afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Victoria, capital city of the province of British Columbia. My name's James. On our way back, you can say home, James. I'm your driver for the next 2.5 hours. I'm going to show you our beautiful city, or some of it. Just the beautiful parts, of course. And of course, I'll be giving you lots of information during the trip. Most of it's accurate. If you take a look out your right window and you see that aluminum railing and the people walking up there on that sidewalk, that is actually a high walk. That is about 14 feet above a low tide. That's the breakwater. Built in 1955, took 3 years to build, and the breakwater was designed to calm the waters in the freighter terminal. It was a freighter terminal back then, not a cruise ship terminal. Yeah, just make the waters a little more calm. Separated from the one if you go straight out there. It's a beautiful walk out there. The breakwater is exactly half a mile long. Leads to an unmanned lighthouse. If you were on the right-hand side of the ship coming in, you would have seen that little lighthouse. And the breakwater is constructed of 3,000 granite blocks, 3 feet by 3 feet by 6 feet. They were quarried from an island not too far from here, but north of here, up the channel. I believe it was Nelson Island. If you crank your head right about now, you'll see just how beautiful a walk that is. It's always breezy out there. And at this end, there's the Breakwater Bistro for breakfast, lunch, and some cool drinks. The body of water that your ships came down there on the right is the Strait of Juan de Fuca. Sounds like a Spanish name, but apparently it's named after a Greek navigator that was on a Spanish exploration that came through here in the mid-1700s. That range of mountains over there, and that is the United States. That is the state of Washington over there, the Olympic Peninsula, and that is the Olympic mountain range. Stretches from left to right, and at the far right, those mountains face the Pacific Ocean, which is only 60 miles away, down the channel to your right, and it's the open Pacific. You can see just how hazy it is over there on the coast. Barely make out the mountains today. It's pretty well been like that ever since Washington legalized marijuana. I think I'm kidding. Oh no, you're right. And right across from us is a little city called Port Angeles, 20,000 people. And a ferry goes from Port Angeles to Victoria Harbor 4 times a day at this time of year. So it's really handy for us hop on that ferry and be on the United States side in only an hour and a half, because the traditional way of getting over there is to go up the coast here a little bit, catch one of our ferries, go to Vancouver, and then drive into the States, and that whole process would take 4 to 5 hours. So we're in this waiting pool, but the birds found it first. Literally followed the water. As you can see, it's a brownish green, and the children have never used it as a wading pool. Seattle that you're coming? Seattle? Okay. The mountains will be on your right. You have to go around the peninsula first before you can cut down the channels to go down to Seattle. Out your left window is, take a look at that mile 0 sign there. Right here is the start of the Trans-Canada Highway. Supposedly the world's longest paved highway. Australia does have a longer highway, but it's my understanding it's not entirely paved. So Canada gets to claim to have the longest paved highway. It's a little over 5,000 kilometers long, which is a little over 3,000 miles long, and it ends in the province of Newfoundland or Newfoundland. And over there's a sign that says the same thing. Mile 0. And that way no province can claim to have the beginning or the end of the Trans-Canada Highway. I thought that was a smart, politically correct move. It's our equivalent to New York Central Park. It's a 200-acre park, only a block away from our downtown core. It's pedestrian only now, and it was given to the city of Victoria in 1895 by the company that founded Fort Victoria. Slow down a bit, take a look at Goodacre Lake. Yes, those you can see, those are little turtles on the log, just 10 feet from the shore. They have to sit out there and bake in the sun on a warm day. That little man-made lake is only for the birds. There's no swimming and there's no boating or fishing in there. Yeah, so Fort Victoria was founded by a trading company. So it was a trading fort founded in 1844. And that little right by the site where the fort was located. Its original flagpole still exists. Point that out here. So this company, the Hudson's Bay Company, fur trading company out of England, they founded Fort Victoria. They assumed a lot of this land was just theirs. Started parceling it off and giving it away to whomever they pleased. So they gave 200 acres to the city of Victoria, even though the indigenous people had been here for 10,000 years. There's a small farm animal petting zoo at the other end. That's the only road that leads into the park. Just for the petting zoo. The action is absolutely beautiful down there. The Empress Hotel faces the It's the only one that's built out of stone. The other ones, we have 3 other cathedrals here. Victoria, they're made of brick. This one's made of stone. I've been in there a few times, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It is a replica of Westminster Abbey in England, but apparently a little smaller. And it took decades for them to build this, 17 years. And what they would do is they construct a little bit of it, raise more money, construct a little bit more, and the way they did that was, as they built the church, it was built around a wooden church. And they stone church was emerging. Both made of red bricks, both named St. Andrews. So they couldn't find an original name for either church. I'm just looking for Fiskard Street behind the back and take it down through Chinatown. It's not really a Chinatown anymore, it's China Block. Back in the late 80s, right outside, where I just found out they're odd because they're vegetarian. Vegetarian burger place. And the buildings that we just passed on your right, even though you can't really see them, are Victoria's tallest buildings. Not very tall, at 17 stories. The two buildings are condominiums. Quite a few years ago, 2019, I was visiting Manhattan, New York. We went up the new World Trade Center, Tower, and 102 stories. The observation deck was at the 100th story. Didn't really get an idea of just how tall that is until I realized we were looking down on helicopters and field planes flying along the Hudson River. Okay, so we're coming up to Chinatown. We're going to pass under the Gates of Harmonious Interest, a project that was built by the Chinese Benevolent Society in 1985. Notice the two stone lions on your left and right. They were donated to Victoria by our sister city, Suzhou in China. Urban legend has it that if an honest politician walks by, those lions will turn their heads. Yeah, exactly. Nobody behind me, so I can really slow down here. We just passed a little shop that's basically, you can't really see it, so I'll just point it out that it is British Columbia's oldest still functioning business. It's a barbecued pork shop, established in 1885. It's gone through 3 family ownerships. All kinds of funky shops in here. One Chinese grocery where you can get all kinds of interesting Asian foods, but 6 Chinese restaurants.
Bubble tea on this side.
2 of them are really good. The building on your left is new. It was finished only 4 years ago.
Hey, people.
500 square foot studio suites upstairs, so it would be affordable. Heritage buildings. A lot of these buildings were built in the late 1800s and early 1900s, and as you can see, they're very well maintained, and that's one of the reasons why Victoria is a quaint city to visit, because of this old quarter. It's a little bit like New Orleans, old quarter. Probably not quite as old though. Weeping Sequoia. Took me a few years to find out what that was. It looked like Dr. Seuss trees. Yeah, so that $1.60 a gallon is actually $1.60 a quart.
Oh.
Yep. We actually sell fuel here by the liter. A liter is only a fraction different than a quart. So essentially, it's about 60 a quart. You couldn't touch one of those for under $1 million.
Wow.
Not the waterfront ones. The ones on your left here, you could probably start at 600,000 Canadian. But even though it's Canadian dollars, it, we earn our money in Canadian dollars. Victoria is one of the most expensive cities to live in Canada. So this channel that you see on your right-hand side is part of James Bay and the Inner Harbor. And we have an airline called Harbour Air. Yeah, they've got a couple of, there are 3 of their, on your right window, you see 3 of their aircraft moored there at Harbour Air. They fly in and out of Victoria about every 30 minutes during their peak busy time. They fly to Vancouver, British Columbia, and Seattle, which coincidentally are exactly 60 miles each from Victoria, so exactly the same flying time. Some of those aircraft will moor overnight, dock overnight in Seattle, and some will dock overnight in Vancouver, and then they start their morning runs out of those cities. BMW dealer on our right-hand side here. How many people know that BMW owns the Rolls-Royce badge? I saw on YouTube some businessman was talking about that. He said, when you pop okay, coming out of the Song East now, back onto the Blue Bridge. It's lit up at blue lights at night, called the Blue Bridge because the original, which was replaced in 2018 and 2019, was painted blue. On your left is the end of the channel. There's a little bit of industry left there. There's a boatyard that repairs boats. They don't build boats, they just repair them. A concrete factory and a very large beer distillery. That's about all the industry that's left. Going to be going up Johnson Street here, and if you take the look on your left and right hand side, Johnson Street is probably the best maintained street. Nice and slow here. All kinds of really interesting shops. Government Street. The Empress Hotel is on our far right. Government Street named so because Victoria being the capital of the province of British Columbia, many government offices are located on that street now. Oh, there's a good example of that. So you see what's happening on the right-hand side? They're maintaining that wall as a heritage wall, and then they're putting a brand new building behind it. Engineering required to do that. They do that quite a bit down in this area as they attempt to maintain the, the heritage look of the area. I believe you're going to see another one of those on Fort Street. They sandwich the brick between steel girders and tear down the old building behind it. Erect a new office building or condominium, and then connect the old facade, the old brick facade, to the new building. Quite an engineering feat that is, I imagine. Street, named after James Douglas. He was our second governor here in the territory of Vancouver Island. And this is our rough street. Every city has a rough street, right? And it was a lot rougher and dirtier for several years when our province, in their wisdom, tried an experiment. They did not legalize drug use, they just made it non-criminal. So really reduced the burden on the police. But unfortunately what happened there was now the druggies just started using drugs right out in the open, right along the street. People were wiped out, lying all over the place. It looked like a zombie haven down here, and it really put a damper on tourism. So it was the spring of last year, the government rescinded that law and made drug use a criminal offense. Consequently, the drug users went back into the alleyways and clean up the street. Edwardian architecture to them, very well maintained, and businesses are located in them now. The salmon-colored one on your left is one of my favorite. Look at the detail work in the balcony railing there. Too narrow for the buses to go up there for any of the tours, so just up ahead where the buses to drop people off. They walk up to the castle. People on the top floor, they can just see the roofs of the castle. See the red metal roofs up there. I've lived in Victoria for 9 years now, and I've yet to do that tour, but people say it's quite a stunning piece of architecture. There are the gates on your right-hand side to the